What's up? I've been thinking about something recently, and it's all because of this brand new Blackmagic camera that's coming out, this Pyxis. Is it Pyxis? Pixel? I can never say it correctly. Whatever this new camera is, the new box camera from Blackmagic. I feel like it's stirring up a bit of a storm when it comes to social media, but then I was thinking to myself, because I like using Lumix cameras, I love using Lumix cameras actually, and I also love using Blackmagic cameras. I feel like both of those two together are the perfect weapon, the perfect alliance. And I think they know that as well, right? Because there's so many weird hints that they're giving us. They're sharing the L mount now, they're in part of the L mount alliance. They're sharing the ability to have B-roll. There's a lot of kind of bonding together of these two brands. But I was thinking to myself, couldn't Lumix just kind of blow the water out there? Couldn't they just kind of sweep the floor with the brand new Blackmagic camera? Think about it. If they turned the S5 II series into a box, wouldn't that just kind of be the Pyxis on steroids? I'm just thinking here, it's kind of crazy, because I know for a fact Lumix, I know for a fact they're gonna come out with another box camera, because the first two box cameras they came out with, the first Micro Four Thirds one, it did alright. The second full frame one did a little bit better, but I feel like they now know it's a primed time in the timeline for everybody wanting box cameras. We've been asking for them for ages. Now is a perfect time to drop it. They already have all the crazy technology with inside the S5 series cameras. If they just turn that into a little cube camera, priced it correctly, I think it would blow the Pyxis out the water. Think about it. Let me give you some stats. I've written down some spec ideas of what I would do if I was working on the Lumix team, you know what I mean? Knowing that Blackmagic may assist us in this kind of thing. Anyway, I've written down what it would be. So, before it was called the BS1H or whatever, so it's like kind of the box or the broadcast, whatever it was, yes? It'd be called the BS5. Let's go with the BS5 right now. I don't know if they'll call it the BS5 too. We're speculating. We're diving into this whole fantasy right now. Alright, BS5. It's going to be a small, tiny box camera. I think if they were to, they could already design it into the other frame that they had before, right? So that would cut costs down, that would get it out in production straight away. Or they could add a little screen to it. If they added a screen to it, similar to the Red, maybe at top, even though no one really uses that, or maybe a side one like the Blackmagic, but that can come out and articulate as well as go back in, I think that will kind of blow it out the water, and it will give them a reason to be above the Pyxis in that format, right? But this isn't to kind of compete this idea. I'm thinking these two cameras could work side by side, because I would definitely buy both of them. Because right now I'm loving my S5 series, I'm loving the Blackmagic series. I think they work so well together. I'm going to make a whole video of why that's the case next time, but let's just go back into these stats, right? So, small box BS5 camera. It'd be a full frame camera, as we know just how the Pyxis is. Also, it'd be 6K as well, open gate, just how the Pyxis is. But where it's going to start to differ kind of thing is the other technologies that's going inside it. We'll have IBIS. Now, the in-body stabilization, as you know from Panasonic, if you've never used it, seriously, you can now, at this point in time, run down the street and get super stable footage. There's footage out there from some guys I saw recently, and I'm just like, man, this new update that they came out with in April has just stepped up the game when it comes to Lumix cameras. If you haven't already downloaded it or checked it out, seen footage from it, please do some research. I'll throw some stuff on the screen if I can of how smooth this IBIS is now. So imagine a cine camera with that stabilization. Also, the brand new phase detection autofocus at Lumix is stepping up. The new update has just allowed it to get even better with the car autofocus. That's something I'll personally be using myself. Like, you know, all these different categories that you can latch onto now in a cinema camera would be amazing, right? Because at the moment, it's only really Sony that's doing the whole autofocus in the cinema lineup. It's time for another brand to step up there, and I think Lumix could definitely do it in my little S5 box camera, the BS5, you know what I mean? Also, obviously, you'll get that nice sensor that we already get in the Lumix cameras. It's going to give you 14 stops plus of dynamic range. I know a lot of that's kind of hidden down inside the noise floor, but clean up the noise and you're going to get 14 stops of dynamic range. People always turn around and say, no, it's 13, the rest of it's in the noise floor, but nah, look at it closely. do some noise reduction, you'll get 14 stops of dynamic range out of this camera, which is very, very decent. Of course, you've got the L mount as well, which is now becoming way more popular. We've got multiple cameras using this. The alliances are growing when it comes to the L mount. It's a good time to be investing in L mount cameras, especially now, say if you couple this up. Say if you come from these amazing deals that we get with Lumix cameras, right, where you'll get a camera, you'll get that 20-60 lens, you'll get like a 50 1.8 and 85 1.8. That bundle kit saves you so much money, and the fact that you can just jump off that. Say if you had the S5 II, then you use a Pyxis or whatever, you can just, like, you know, drag and drop. Same if you had, say, an S5 and an S5 box, you can just grab the lenses, pop it on there. It's a good saving. It means that you don't necessarily now need to be buying kits. You could just buy the actual bodies of these things. I'm going off on one here anyway. So yeah, L mount lenses, banging. There's a lot of cine lenses coming out for L mount now. It's really stepping up. It's a great time to now invest in the L mount. Also, external B-RAW to SSD. Now, that's something that a lot of people are saying, well, why don't I just put it inside the camera so we can record inside? I don't think, when I'm thinking about it now, legally, I don't know if cameras are actually allowed to record B-RAW inside if they're not a Blackmagic camera. And I think this is the reason why we're seeing so many recorders externally being allowed to do it, because externally you're going into, say, a Blackmagic recorder where it can do it. So this one's a little bit of a hit and miss. I don't know if Blackmagic or Release, seeing as they're kind of teaming up with the Alliance, whether they'll release the ability to record B-RAW onto an external SSD through a Lumix camera. I'm not too sure, but if they can do that, that'd be absolutely amazing. If not, I think Lumix will be able to do ProRes RAW out of SSD. So there'll be a functionality to have RAW near enough internal, because let's face it, we'll just strap an SSD to the side and that'll be done, dude. You know what I mean? Take the cable out, pop the cable back in when you go to the PC, edit on the SSD, continue. You know what I mean? That's kind of how it goes when we're using these kind of cameras. And then you've got obviously the color science. Think about it. Vlog color science right now is ridiculously good. Ridiculously good. Now, while we talk about color science, let's just do a little bit of a thing here. Right now I'm shooting in Vlog. I'm just gonna go back to the Vlog, you know, standard, and I'm gonna show you my conversion LUT. Let's just do a little bit of a plug here. This is my pro conversion LUT. So this is the standard one you get from Lumix. Be on my skin now. This is the nicest LUT. That's actually a title of a LUT. Everyone says you should use the nicest LUT when it comes to Vlog. This is what it does to the skin. Take a close look. And then I'll put the third one up, which is my Pro LUT, which I think gives a perfect balance for all S5 cameras right now. And if this color science on the new cameras will be the same, then I'm sure the LUT would work for that as well. But yeah, if you are using a Lumix camera, check this one out. I've also made a bundle that works for a lot of other cameras as well, kind of a universal bundle, but initially it's been ported over to the S5 II as a camera first, and then it's kind of worked back to all the other cameras. It's a real nice starting point. It's not a LUT to finish the job, it's a LUT to start the job, you know what I mean? So it gets the colors into more of where the Arri Alexa sits, and then from that point on there, you can start to progress and start to edit, but it gives you a nice color balance to start with. That's my plug over and done with, right? But imagine you've got the Vlog color science inside your little box camera, right? And then you can also record B-RAW, and then once you go B-RAW, it transfers the colors into a Gen 5, you know, or whatever the new gen would be, Gen 6. So you get the best of both worlds. Keep thinking about that line, right? The box cameras previously, you could record internally and externally at the same time. Imagine the new box camera could do that. So internally you could record Vlog, externally you could record some sort of RAW format, whether it be ProRes, whether it be B-RAW, you know what I mean? So you've got the RAW format there to work with, you've also got the Vlog format. That's gonna give you loads of different mediums to pop out there, loads of different ways of color grading, editing, different platforms that you're gonna pop it on, which I think could be absolutely amazing. You know what I mean? Absolutely amazing. And yeah, I kind of ran out of points here. I just flew through all of them. But imagine all those little points there going into a little box camera. Would that not be a complete contender against the brand new Blackmagic camera? Because the brand new Blackmagic camera is a banging camera, but at the same time, it is still kind of previous tech inside of it internally. Which I suppose the S5 box camera would be the same, but I think where they're sitting now with the firmware updates, having that autofocus system, I think it will really progress it. But I think even if you bought the Pyxis and you bought, say, an S5 box camera, they would work in tandem so brilliantly with each other. Do you know what I mean? Like one could literally be on sticks, one could be, because I think the box camera's a little bit smaller, right? So that could be literally up in here on a drone, it could be on your gimbal. I think they would work together. The color sciences would work very well together. The lenses would interchange. It's a good time to be in the system of Lumix. It's a good time to be in the system of Blackmagic. These two things right now, they're getting me excited. You know, look at that. Really excited, you know what I mean? So anyway, today was just kind of like a fantasy tour, if you will, of what I think could possibly be coming out. I mean, if Lumix are thinking correctly, they've got to come out with something like this, right? Anyway, enjoy your week, your weekend, wherever it is right now. Keep active, get out there, be creative. What a time to live in. Peace and love.